Welcome to the Daily Insider here on Vegas Insider. I am Kevin Rogers as we look ahead to today's show here towards the end of May, Monday, May 23rd, 2022. And our friend Dave Sharapan is going to join us in just a moment. Look back at a very busy weekend. We have the Eastern Conference Finals tonight in the NBA. Heat up 2-1 over the Celtics. Game 4 of that series. Warriors on the brink of eliminating the Mavericks tomorrow. Golden State up 3-0. Also the hockey. Panthers could be on their way out tonight against the Lightning. We'll talk about all of that with our friend Dave Sharapan, who joins us right now. And Dave, good to see you.
Hi, Kevin.
Got your Yankees gear on today. So good to see you go in that direction, I guess. It's kind of weird, but go ahead.
No, we're going to talk about baseball and all these other shows and stuff. So, we're getting to that point where not that people are losing interest, but the Warriors have kind of made that not a series now. So we'll talk about that. So yeah, little Yankee stuff. They were big favorites yesterday and they lost too. So favorites lose just as much. And we're in Yankee gear today to send the show off for the summer. That's what we're doing.
I want to start with this before we get to basketball, before we get to what happened this past weekend. Okay. You've been on this show many, 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 many times. You join us every Monday.
Yep.
And I've talked to you many times. I always enjoy our conversations. You have made a motto, in a sense. Your motto is nobody knows shit.
Correct.
You worked as an odds maker for years. Now you're on the other side. You're just not in there, but you're still viewing it from the other side.
Correct.
And I know this sounds kind of odd, but where did you come up with that? I feel like I asked that a long time ago, but I want you to kind of bring it back. When you say everyone they handicap, they have this angle, they have that angle, I see value, closing line value, all this other crap. Why did you say that?
Because from the time I was in Curacao and actually, really watching this stuff, I kept saying, why are these guys like, you respect this guy, you respect this guy. And these were all just people, account numbers and watching bet tickers and stuff. And I saw them lose too. And I just was like, man, so I've been saying it for 25 years. And then I got to the book and I had people saying it to me at the counter, Kev. People would come up to the counter and ask me who I liked. And I would genuinely tell them. And they would say, today the Yankees are playing the Orioles. And I would say, all right, I like the Yankees. I mean, it's -$3. Who doesn't like the Yankees? And the guy would go, you know what? You don't know shit either. Give me 10 dimes on the Orioles. And I'd be like, wow, okay. So for years, I got told I didn't know shit. I watched guys come in with gigantic amounts of money and bet they didn't know shit. Then I got back in the risk room and I realized the guys I was working with making the numbers didn't know shit either. Like, you would have arguments with somebody over to Florida, Tampa Bay. This would be fighting words, the Florida, Tampa Bay NHL series. Florida's a favorite in game 1 because they're home. Okay. I would sit there and go, they're too high. That can't be too. If you watch Tampa play, they got Vasilevsky. He's better than Bobrovsky. Make him -120 and let him bet Florida. Dave, you don't know shit. Okay. Then Florida wins, and they're a bigger favorite in game 2. Same guys I'm working with. These are guys that I respect their opinions. Telling me, no, it's higher. Okay. It happens again. Then you come in the next day and you go, well, what do you think now? Well, Florida's definitely going to win game 3. I mean, they have to make them a small favorite. Okay. So you see it on all sides of the counter. You see it on all sides of the business, and everybody's got a plan. Everybody's got a model. That line from Mike Tyson, it just keeps coming back in my head where, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. You get punched in the face every day in the book on both sides of the counter. I mean, I like Dallas. I thought Dallas was going to be competitive against Golden State. I don't know shit. I mean, I mean, you just got to book the games and get more right than you get wrong when you're taking 110. I mean, you got plus 110 working for you in the book. Didn't take me long to figure that out as I was, before I got into the book business, I was betting, but I mean, I've been kicked out by bookies and done all that stuff too. So I've seen it from all sides, and I constantly come back to, Nobody knows shit. It applies to life every day.
Because Dave, I'm like, we're gonna jump around, but
Yep.
I look at baseball from Sunday. All right,
Oh.
Royals up 6-0.
Oh,
Lose to Minnesota 7-6. Hold on a second. Mariners, Red Sox under 9. Mariners tie it in the ninth with a home run, walk-off grand slam like against the Rangers last year to kill that total 8-4.
cover the
Tampa
run line.
Bay, who owns Baltimore, up 4-0 after the first. They lose 7-6 and 11.
Yes.
You think you have it. You have Kansas City. Hey, the sharp money's in the Royals. I got this. Guess what? You're a loser.
Yeah. Yeah. And you beat the closing line by 15 cents and everything else. I mean, it's still sports. That's why I like the NFL draft. That's the one thing that I think people know shit and can take advantage of in betting. The games are the games. I mean, I see it with the kids when I'm coaching. We get off the bus, we look like, we're minus 350 favorites. After the first inning, I just know we're plus 380 dogs. Like well, I was wrong about that. So until the actual game starts, there's all this, there's that, there's betting. And then the game starts. I mean, and then the baseball yesterday, like you said, within the game, Dallas blew a 19-point lead to Golden State. Like you thought you were on the right side, plus 6.5. Like we're good. We got to be good, right? They don't even cover the spread. So it's not easy. I mean, you just, like I said, you got to be right more than you're wrong. Kind of when you really have a good spot, Tampa to win the series against Florida, pre-series starting. It's a good bet. I mean, it's a good bet. Even if it loses, it's a good bet. Now, you're a genius. You took plus 150 before the series against the Florida Panthers, and now they're minus 1,800 today. So you win some, you lose some. You got to keep grinding and just win a little bit more than you lose, and it's a decent ride and I think it's a nice side hustle. It's a hard life for people, Kevin. I was just in a book on Sunday. I got a tip on a horse. Did you see the tip on a horse that I got?
Was it a winner?
Somebody sends me a text. The 9th race at Belmont, there's a horse. His name's I Got a Guy. I got a guy. I can't be the guy who doesn't have I Got a Guy in the 9th at Belmont. So I run down to the book to bet on I Got a Guy. And I try the trifecta trick that I tried in the Kentucky Derby. The horse runs 5th. So I got a loser. I got a guy, I got a loser. But I see a guy there who bet the Pirates in Cardinals game, the early start. Nobody's watching it, right? Nobody. So unnamed book put up a line. Will there be a run scored in the top of the 9th? It's the algorithm. It's running. It's by itself. Nobody's watching a game. It's 12-0 Cardinals. Well, the Pirates put in a position player to pitch the top of the 9th. He bet it. It was plus money, Kevin. He bet it for his limit, $4,000. The auto line moving software moved it a penny. He bet it again. He continued to bet it because they were bringing in the backup shortstop or whomever it was to pitch. Albert Pujols had the day off. He came in and hit 2 home runs in the 9th. The guy won a car, $40,000. He bet it 10 times. He won 40 grand because the position player came in to pitch. And then in the bottom of the ninth, the Cardinals let Benji Molina pitch.
Yachty.
And he gave up 4 runs.
Yachty Molina.
I'm sorry.
One of the brothers.
Benji's his brother. That's right.
Okay, I want to tell you something. Hold on one second.
The books don't know anything.
Hold on. The guy that pitched in the 9th for Pittsburgh, Van Meter, you know who that guy is? That's the guy who came in to catch in that Reds game when the Reds blew up in the 8th inning a few weeks ago in that over. This guy, he can't play anymore. Catcher, pitcher, get him out of there.
I mean,
you got to cut him.
It was raining. It was 12-0. They said, what's his name?
Who, Van Meter?
Van Meter. They said, Van Meter, get out there and pitch. He's like, I never pitched. I haven't pitched since high school. That's okay. Get out there. You're staying out there. You're finishing the inning, no matter how many you give up. It was 12-0. If you had in-game under 14.5, you thought you were good. 18-4 is the final. That's a perfect example of nobody knows shit, but the guys running the book aren't even paying attention. This guy won a car betting it. So it's on both sides of the counter every day.
But wait, hold on a second. That top of the ninth prop, when is that posted? Before the game or like in the 8th inning?
It's posted in the 8th inning. Will there be a run scored in the 9th?
Okay.
And then
I'm saying so they knew the score. So the score was already established. It wasn't like you could make the bet before the game.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's up. It runs itself. These programs, they've removed the human element of it in a lot of places. And that's why now that guy probably will never be able to make another bet at that book that he bet at, most likely because he was better at it than them. I mean, I don't think that particular book will do anything other than just pay him and let him bet because, if you're betting 4,000 a unit, I mean, you're probably giving some back too, or you're putting the book on the right side of things. But yeah, it's a crazy, crazy business. I don't know where it's going, and I'm extremely happy doing what I'm doing. But when you still got your ear to the ground and you talk to people all over the world doing it, you realize that nobody knows shit. I mean, it's even the sharpest guys in the world. They may know shit about something.
Right.
But, I mean, tell me who's going to win the Celtics game tonight and who's going to cover. That's fine. Bet it. That's why it's there. Bet it. It's great.
Before we get to the Warriors Mavericks, Dave, game 2 of the Heat Celtics which Boston killed them. The Heat were a 4-point favorite. It closed at 1, finding out Smart and Horford were going to play. Do you get the pat on the back if you have the Heat -1? Even if you lose by 30, you get the pat on the back for that? You waited for a better line and you still lose?
Some people will say yes. Some people, they love that CLV. I can't. I mean, now I'm getting tagged on social media all over. Hey, where's Sports BK can sig with the CLV can and stuff. I'm looking for a CLV dumpster. I'm driving around the city of Las Vegas to try to find a stamped CLV dumpster because the cans aren't enough. I mean, you could put it in that can. That's great. You got the best line in the history of the line of that game. That's awesome. You lost by 30. How does that feel? I don't think it feels good. It's no accomplishment to me.
I agree with you. I think it's ridiculous. I got good closing line value on this. Did you win? No, I don't care. It doesn't matter. You did not win. Now, what do you think on the flip side of this? If you get a bad line and you win, what do you think about that?
You're living right. That's sometimes that's being lucky. You can be on the wrong side and win. You can be on the right side and lose. I just want to be on the right side more often than I'm not. I can't control the wins and losses. I mean, I hit the try at the Derby. It paid $7,500 for a 50-cent try that I hit the all button for. It had 180 combinations. Or no, 360 combinations because it was 50 cents. So I had 360 combinations. I didn't know shit. I just bet it right and got very lucky. Sometimes you got to get lucky in this to get a win, even with a good number. I mean, for years, the metric was, did he beat the closing line? That doesn't apply as much anymore because the lines are the same. That's the problem. And if the opening number is no good and you beat the opening number, well, I used to say in the book all the time, why are you running these closing line value reports? Literally closing line reports to see who's beating the closing line. I would run win and loss reports. And I'd be like, I don't care what this guy's doing. He may be betting it to fake us out and get us to move the line. So, he's beating the closing line, but he's losing. These other guys are taking it and winning. Maybe they're the ones we should pay attention to. So, it's been a source of discussion inside books for maybe 30 years. And I've been listening to it all along going, You guys can have all the CLV you want. I'll take the dubs. Give me the W's.
Good transition. Warriors beat the Mavericks last night, 109-100. And you know what? Look, I'm with you. I like Dallas last night. I like Dallas in game 2. I thought they'd bounce back. They did bounce back for a half. Then they were terrible in the third quarter. They did bounce back. They played well. But Golden State took the early lead, Dave, last night. Dallas came back, was up 8 or 9, and then they kind of fell flat, and Golden State took the lead at the half. Steph was great. Wiggins played well, and, Luka can only do so much. A couple things here. Number one, this is kind of a crazy thing, but does Luka complain too much? I feel like every single time Luka shoots the ball, he's looking, he's like this, he's making faces. It's like, just play already. And I get it was a little physical and they swallowed the whistles a lot last night, but like every time he's complaining after every play.
I think that almost creates even more so where you don't get the calls. You can complain, but then you have to not complain to get the calls. It happened to me as a kid. I was playing in high school, and I got tripped coming over the blue line. And I did like a Superman. I laid my arms out and slid. The ice was fresh just to make sure there was a penalty call. And after the game, my dad said, if you ever do that again, I'm going to knock you out with my own stick. I said, what are you talking about? He said, get up and play. Let the refs call the game. You worry about it. And it was a great lesson. And I think Luka could take a lesson from somebody like that and say, stop complaining. They're going to call the fouls, whether you complain or not. You're actually making them look bad. You're bringing attention to yourself that you don't need. Just play. I'm with you 100%. I don't like it. I know I don't tolerate it with the kids. I tell them all the time, I'll complain to the umpire. You don't complain. You don't say a word, ever. Don't say a word. Don't even shrug your shoulders. I know the pitch is outside. He knows it's outside. Everyone in the park knows it's outside. He called it a strike. You can't do anything about it other than hit the only next pitch you get. Luka's got to keep going. I think this is a whole growth process for him, though, Kev. Like, Dallas has gotten to this point, and he was hurt at the beginning of the playoffs with Utah, and like they got past them, they get past the next series, and now going forward, I mean, they need more pieces. He needs help. But yes, to answer your question, he complains too much.
Now, what about this line adjustment, Dave, going to tomorrow? We get to Heat Celtics in a second. You go from 3 to 1.5 at most spots now. Is that trying to say, all right, we were wrong on making Dallas a 3-point favorite at home, or how do you evaluate that?
Well, the line opened up, 1.5, 2 in places and got to 3 pretty quickly because the game 3 play in playoff series is a staple for years. And, and we'll get to the hockey, but it came true in all the hockey games. The teams coming home for game 3 won. This usually repeats itself. It didn't in the NBA in either the Eastern Conference Finals or the Western Conference Finals, but that's what they bet. And by they, I mean the bad guys. So you put it back at 1.5. They haven't played it yet. I don't know if they are. I think it's done. If they were going to win a game, it was yesterday. So you put the line at 1, hoping they lay it. Now, if they don't, or they play Golden State +1, this thing's going to close Golden State on top -2.5 or 3. Like, it's going to jump. There's no other way to go because the public side is clearly Golden State. You made him a dog yesterday. Instead of taking the 3 points, they were betting him on the money line, and they got paid. They're coming back with Golden State. There's just you already know. As the book, you just put it up and try to find a number where somebody's going to give you a limit play on Dallas so you know where you need to go. The worst thing that can happen right now in the book, if we're sitting there and we put up Dallas -1. Because if you put up Golden State -1, they're going to take Dallas. So you got to put up Dallas -1 to see if they'll lay it. When they don't, it's like a big uh-oh, and the line shoots and goes the other way.
Tonight, in Boston, you got Heat and Celtics. So the Heat had that big first quarter. They sat on it for a while. Everyone on the Celtics, best supporting actor, best actor, You had all that happening. Let's wheel everyone out. Let's come back out on the floor. Congratulations, you're walking again. The only thing I was missing was Paul Pierce in a wheelchair.
I was waiting for that.
I'm telling you, man. I'm like the Celtics, the drama queens out there.
I thought Tatum's career was over. When he was down on the ground in pain, I thought his career was over. I said, this guy's never going to shoot a basketball again. He came back in 3 minutes. I couldn't believe it.
It's all of them. And Jimmy Butler got hurt. Tyler Hero's not playing tonight. So I don't know who's left for any of these guys. We're going to have to bring out Jerry Seatsting and Rory Sparrow when it's all
You always got the good calls. Who comes up with Seastick? That's so good.
Well, Jerry Seasting, the only one I could think of is that he knocked the ball out of bounds, or it was off of him before the Larry Bird steal to Dennis Johnson, I believe.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah. It's moments in time that are in there. You know what number he was, Seasting?
Jerry Seasting was number 12.
Of course he was. I knew you would know that. You were minus 650 to get that. I knew you would.
Little known fact before we continue, I went to Rory Sparrow basketball camp at the JCC when I was in 7th grade.
You did not.
I did.
Were you a jump
shooter? He played for the Heat. He was in Miami.
Were you a shooter?
I was more of a distributor.
You got handle? Can you still dribble?
I haven't played basketball in a long time. I don't get out.
You got to start shooting again. Come on.
I know. Got to get some shots in. Anyway, so we got tonight the Heat and the Celtics, and Boston, they're favored again. What do you think about this whole thing about Boston? They've won 68 quarters, and people making a big deal about that, but yet they're down 2-1.
I told you. I don't listen to any of that stuff. I mean,
sorry. It's out of the 12 quarters, they've won 10 of them. Excuse me.
How many games have they won? One. How many games have they played? 3. That's all I care about. How many wins do you have? I don't care about how many quarters. Maybe if you're betting, like if you're betting first quarter or you're betting third quarter, something like that, maybe that's the way to look at it. But, I mean, they have to win this game, and I just hate betting on these teams that have to win, but there's certain situations that you feel like they're going to win. I thought they were going to win game 3. And then, like you said, it became a Best Picture nomination with awards and in and out and who's coming back, who's really hurt. They're winning tonight. I mean, but now it's 7. I mean, it's painted 7 across. So no hero. I'm not in a hurry to lay the points. That 7 is the number for me in the NBA, Kev, that screams dog to me. It screams dog. 4, 4.5, even the 5 favorite. 6 gives you that, not sure. You can still be nudged. 7, I just don't make it a habit ever of laying more than 6 points in an NBA game. So I think the number is exactly where it needs to be. I think how much it's not going to bounce. The game tips at 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 tonight. You got to be tired. You trying to stay up late and watch these games?
Don't even talk about the 9:00 start last night.
What was that? On a Sunday?
Up West Coast. You could have the game at 4:00 your time, 6:00 Central, 7:00 Eastern, and you're all fine.
On a Sunday, that's easy. That's where you put it. 9:00 Eastern for the game. I mean, come on. It seems crazy. I don't know. I think it'll be. This one feels like it's going 6 or 7, which means that Boston's winning tonight. So we'll look at that. I'm looking at. I did another show already this morning. Miami plus 280 to win the series 4-3 at some different books. That's a decent price. If Boston wins tonight, that's cut in half because that becomes the favorite of the whole thing. The home team winning a game 7 becomes the automatic favorite. Because it has to be 6 games, it has to be 7 games, one of the two. That's the bet. If you're looking, if you think Boston's going to win, you could take plus 280 right now, and you'll have tremendous CLV because that thing will be like plus 150 tomorrow.
The other guys in the state or in the city, in the area here, go
Oh
from
my.
Dade to Broward County. Oh my God, the Panthers. 1 goal in each of the first 3 games.
At least they got a power play goal. Everybody was talking about how
0
they
for
could score.
25 before the Reinhardt goal. You know what? I got nobody. I'm not going to single anyone out in this series. They've all been bad. I can't even say Bobrovsky. No one can score. No one has done anything. And it took until game 3 for Steven Stamkos to score his first goal for Tampa Bay.
You said it all. I mean, it's not one particular thing. And I don't know if it's as much as Florida being bad as Tampa's just that good. We're going to be talking about Tampa after they win this series, which they're definitely going to win this series. They may not win it today, but I think back-to-back was huge going into it. If Florida would have won with a short turnaround in game 4, like I would have had them as a legitimate chance to take this thing back 2-2. Losing like that yesterday, it's done. It's just done in 4 or done in 5. We're going to be talking about Tampa like we were talking about, the Oilers and the Islanders and, legendary teams. If they can complete this run, Kucherov is clearly one of the best players in hockey. He's got Corey Perry, who just, if you have him on your team, you love him. Can't stand a guy if you don't. It's just, he has everything you want in your guy and everything you don't want when he's not your guy. Perfect guy to play with him and get these goals and all this stuff. And you got Vasilevsky. Vasilevsky he stops everything. Even the pucks he don't see, they hit him somewhere. So, yeah, it was a great regular season. They got the President's Trophy. They won a first-round game. Is there any solace in that, Kevin, or is it just like, nah?
Is the President's Trophy the CLV trophy?
It is. It is. If you don't get at least to the Stanley Cup final, I'm going to have to find a picture of that and rename it the CLV trophy. That's a very good idea, Kevin. Thank you.
Or just call it the President's Trophy every time you get a couple points. Oh, hey, look, I got points. I lost by 30. But look, here's my President's Trophy I'm holding up.
That's it. The president of the CLV right there. I'm not only a member, I'm the president.
Who was that? That was the I'm not a president, I'm a client, the guy with the hair?
The hair club for men.
Yeah, you're right. What was I going to say? Oh, I heard an interesting nugget about Corey Perry, too. Corey Perry was with Dallas and Montreal the last 2 years. So he faced Tampa Bay in the Stanley Cup final. Now it's like you can't beat him, join him. He literally couldn't beat him. So he's like, I'm just going to go there.
I would do the same thing towards the end of my career. I would take less money. I would go play. It's fun to play there with them. Every guy is responsible defensively, which is like you see guys. I don't want Stamkos diving in front of shots and blocking shots because I need him to do what he's doing. But like everybody buys in. It's so refreshing to see the hockey runs that happen, in the Stanley Cup playoffs over the years. Just look at Edmonton last night. That was so impressive what they're doing. And Connor McDavid is taking that next step. The guy is the best player on planet Earth. He is so good and so much fun to watch. They finally got him a winger that can skate with him and just go to the net. They put Kane on his line along with Draisaitl, or, play with Draisaitl sometimes, play with Kane sometimes. You can't – it's so impressive to see. And, Edmonton's now leading this series. Nobody thought that was going to happen. Calgary was the team that could actually beat Colorado. Now they may not even beat Edmonton.
Now, here's the other one too, Dave. Let's just focus on that for a second before we look at tonight. All right, so this guy, Evander Kane, who was a complete, nobody wanted, he was toxic. Nobody wanted him, the gambling allegations, all this other stuff. Is that one of the best signings you could ever have? Think about what he's done for this team. You mentioned you have McDavid and Draisaitl. You have two of the leading scorers in the league. Evander Kane still's got something left in the tank. The guy gets a hat trick last night. Oilers up 2-1 in that series. I hate those uniforms, by the way. But I like the royal blue.
Yes.
Yeah, bring back the royal blue. But what an amazing pickup this guy has been.
It's one of those things that, at the time everybody was like, what would they do that for? Who wants that guy? It was for last night. It was for this series. It was for with them beating the Kings. I mean, he was the one that scored and held up the 7, like in Game 6. Like we'll see you in Game 7. You need these guys. Like for hockey is the ultimate team sport. Your best player on the ice plays, if you're lucky, 25 minutes a game, not even half the game. So it takes a literal army to win a Stanley Cup, and there's always someone's moment. I mean, Tampa in Game 7 against Toronto, guy named Rich Paul scores his first 2 career playoff goals. They win a game 2-1. There's always a game where somebody does it. And now, yes, Evander Kane, tremendous signing. I think it makes them super live to win this series. And dare I say, could they beat Colorado? I guess so. Be nuts, but I all of Canada is rooting for a Canadian team to at least get to the Stanley Cup final. As much as you hate them, once they beat Calgary, I think people will be on board and say, let's go Edmonton, take out the Avalanche.
So you think this is done, this series? I mean, they still got to win 2 more, but Colorado up 2-1 after they won Game 3, and then you had the thing with Binnington after the game. He throws the water bottle allegedly, Nazem Kadri, and they have a whole thing now. St. Louis is cooked, right?
You know how hard this thing is to do when you've never done it before for the goalie. I mean, we've seen it happen where rookie goalies have led a team to the Stanley Cup, but and not that he's a rookie, but he's not Binnington, who's already done it. Goes one of 2 ways. St. Louis super tightens everything up and makes these games look like the mid-90s. Left wing locks, dump and chase, limit shots on goal. Don't really try to score until you get an opening counter punch the whole game. Or they try to skate with Colorado and the games go over and out of hand. So far, they've done a really good job of keeping the games tight. I mean, that was another one. Man, if you had under, that thing was 3-2 going to the third. It was 3-2 the whole time. And then they got not 1, but 2 empty netters to get the total over. It's tough. I used to love taking a goal and a half in the playoffs. Can't do it anymore. Just can't even think about doing it. Have had to change my whole mindset on what normally would go in the past and be successful betting wise. Throw it all out the window.
Did you watch a lot of the PGA Championship yesterday?
I did not watch a lot of it yesterday. No, I saw the highlights. Can't believe the guy hit it into the creek. There's like a creek on the course. It's not a river. It's not a lake. It's not really a body of water. But I saw him hit the ball into the water and thought, I don't believe this is happening, and it's happening. And I know a lot of people that had like 300-1, 200-1 tickets on this guy. 1-stroke lead with 1 hole to play. Double bogey out.
Are you still interested in golf? Like, can you focus for a weekend and watch it, or you're not really into it, or you do it because you have to do it?
I do it more because I have to do it. I mean, I am interested in it, and we were so interested in it because when we were booking it and Tiger was competitive, there was always just more action. And the Masters is incredible. Masters week I'm dialed in because of the production and because it's the Masters and the course. This week, after the second round, I lost interest. I was more interested in the hockey. I'm more interested in a baseball game. It becomes tough. And not that it was done, but I mean, going into Sunday, it was like, it's going to be him or Willie Z or, I think it was one other guy that was like 2 strokes back. And then I started getting the text, are you watching the golf? Are you watching the golf? And I wasn't because I was going to bet that horse. I got a guy and they had it on. So I saw a little there in the book, and then I came home and there's not a person in this house interested in the golf. So I didn't have it on. I only saw the highlights after that.
Yeah, because I'll be honest, it's hard to sit and watch the entire weekend, or at least the entire Sunday, and watch these guys play.
No, there's not enough time. Like that's the thing. I think that's why first round leader betting has gone up. Make or miss the cut has gone up as far as handle in golf betting because it's a lot less committed. to the entire thing. Outrights used to be the only thing. Now they're an afterthought. I mean, people like to post them and take shots, but the real money's made in head-to-head matchups, always has been. And now these micro markets, to use an industry term, that first round leader thing is huge. Prices are great. And make or miss the cut for so many individual golfers is doing tremendous handle from the people that I talk to in the books.
Well, the one thing too about like NASCAR, for instance, with head to head, I thought that that's way more fun, and it's two guys. If you took one bet, it's two guys. You're not worried about 36 guys, and you got to pick one to win the entire thing. Now, obviously, you can make more than one head-to-head bet, but okay, let me worry about Kyle Busch against Kyle Larson, just for example. That's it. I'm focused on those two, and I'm done. Same thing with the golf. Let me focus on those two, and I focus on every single golfer out there.
That's the sharpest markets that I've ever booked. NASCAR matchups, golf matchups. The sharpest guys that I know that were so specialized used to just, they would pick you apart. You'd put up these numbers and think you knew, or, shade this and move this. And then you get bet, boom, boom, boom. Guy bets 5 matchups, goes 4-1 or 3-2 every single week. I can't beat this guy. I got to get on his side. The problem for the books is nobody's betting the other side. Hopefully this stuff will become more popular. But you're absolutely right. As far as a watch standpoint, I only got to watch 2. I can't watch all this other stuff. I got distractions. I got kids. I got things. I can't sit for 6 hours and watch a golf tournament. I can't.
I have this question just for you, because we're going to wrap up with you and let you go.
Yep.
That, you said earlier about, you're making this like a side job. Like, people they want to have entertainment. They want to make their money. How many people really can do this full time and not have kids and just focus on every single thing? It's got to be you can count it probably on 2 hands, right? The amount of people that can do that professionally and only worry about that as their income.
Oh, it's such a small percentage. It's less than 2% of people doing it. It's less than 2%. They're ghosts. I've seen them. I've met them. They're like it's a really, really hard life. And the guys that do it, I give them credit. There's guys that diversify. They bet, but they also have, parking lots, apartment buildings. They buy a business like a laundromat or a cleaner, so they have cash flow and things like that. They don't really participate in it, but they buy franchises. I bet guys that were professional bettors that owned McDonald's. Like, it is a really, really tough life. And I think, you have to know what you're good at. You have to know what you're not, so you can kind of get your chips in when you have a really good hand, a really good number, a really good feel. And kind of just, it's a volume game, though. These guys they're not picking at 63%. Nobody does. They may do it for a month, a season, but if you're going to keep doing it, it can't be sustained. So it's a small percentage. Okay, Raj, it's small.
Yeah, it's just it just feels so unrealistic to have it as your only source of income. It just feels a little too much because of the bad breaks. You have, like, Sunday, you had the Royals and you had the Rays and you had the under the Mariners Red Sox. You're counting your money. You feel good about yourself, and all of a sudden you're James Conn and the gambler. You got nothing.
One of the best things that I didn't even realize when I said it, when I first started doing this on the media side, was they asked me something about how do you feel about getting it right. I said relief. There's no joy in it. I was relieved. So then I could have something else to get to, and it was done. And it was the same way in the book. Nobody ever really celebrated big wins or got down with big losses. You just turn the page to the next day and do it again. And when you become numb like that, that's when you have a chance of actually doing this professionally. Like, you have to become numb to the results, good or bad. It's like the best hitters in baseball, Kev. They go 3 for 3, 2 bombs, 4 ribbies. The next day they go 0 for 4. They're the same guy. The next day, maybe they get a bleeder and they go 1 for 4. And then, it just goes on. And by the end of the season, a guy's hitting 318, 32 homers, 108 ribbies, is in a discussion for MVP. And he's the same guy every time. Those are the people that can be successful with this. But I think you have to learn how to lose first, then really learn how to win, learn bankroll management, learn so many things. And you have to learn sometimes to turn it off. You have to go for 3 days and just decompress and get away. Because after a day like yesterday with the 3 games you had, you get up this morning looking at opening numbers and trying to fire and do these things, you could get in trouble. So, yeah, man, I've seen it. It's a grind of a life.
Also, one more thing I'll mention to you. What do we say? Trends are your friends until they're not. That
Yep.
I took Arizona yesterday against Chicago. Cubs were 0-7 this year in home series, 0-6 in home series finales. Cubs were up 3-0 out of the chute. Arizona came back, took a 4-3 lead. I'm like, hey, is trend still working? Cubs hit back-to-back homers in the bottom of the 8th, win 5-4.
Why they got to do it in the bottom of the 8th too? Like you're leading, you're feeling good. Just get me through the 8th. We'll put the closer in the ninth. No. You get the two bombs in the bottom of the 8th. You lose 5-4 because you almost at that point, if you're watching the game, you got to bet the no run for Arizona in the top of the ninth because at least you're live to win there. So you know
Right.
if you're going to lose it, you bet the no, and you win that bet, and you're even. Like that's the professional in me going, all right, I just took a bad break, but how can I fix it? And that's why the end game is so dynamic all the time, and that's why this life is never over until the games are all finished because you have different betting opportunities like that. I did that in the ninth inning yesterday in the San Diego-San Francisco game. Same exact thing. I did the exact same thing. They put a position player into pitch, and I took a shot at a gigantic plus price in the top of the ninth and got there. So sometimes you win them, sometimes you lose. But man, if you're in it for real, you're never turned off.
Dave Sharapan, you can find him on Twitter at SportsBKConsig. Always enjoy talking to Dave. And just this one programming note that after this week, the Daily Insiders are going a bit of a hiatus until August. So I wanted to thank Dave, since I'm not going to talk to him again on here, probably until the fall. I wanted to thank him for his time and always an enjoyable conversation. I look forward to it every single week. And we'll talk to you again during the fall. But again, just very happy for you to join us as you have for the last, few years. It feels like. But
Yeah.
I really appreciate everything.
I enjoy this visit as well, Kev. I enjoy the banter on the Twitter. I enjoy the text conversations. I'm going to figure out a time that you can join us either on Cash Considerations or me and Matt on Bostonian versus the book, and we'll so you're not done yet. I mean,
No, we're not. No, we're not done. We're not going.
Right.
We're just not having the show. We're still doing the videos. We're just not having the show after this week for a few months.
I was going to say, you're going to take the summer off, get some sun, maybe, hang out. You coaching any sports yet or anything or none of that stuff?
No, not yet. Too young. Not there yet.
It's coming. It's coming, Kev. Just telling
I know.
you.
I'll have to call you if I need some help.
I
need help. I just don't know I just don't know what which help I need. I do need
with
help.
Sport, there's a lot of choices. Put them in everything, and then just see where they pick. Don't try to force anything because you want him to play basketball. 100%, he's not going to play basketball. He's going to play soccer, the sport you don't want him to play. So you let them pick. Just put them in everything. He'll be a good dad.
We said no football though. Football we're staying away from.
Nah, unless you're big and strong and all that. Like football is just too physical.
Yeah.
That's one of the good things. Like my daughter plays flag football. She absolutely loves it. And I told her, you're only the quarterback. Because even in that flag, I mean, there's a lot of bumping heads. There's a lot of ripping, you don't need that stuff. But yeah, I might be down to Florida. If I come down to Florida, South Florida, I'm going to meet up.
Yeah, you go to North Florida, I'm not going to see you.
Yeah.
You have no reason to go to the Panhandle at all.
No, there's talk about if Tampa gets to the Stanley Cup Finals, making a trip. I was hoping that Miami would, and then it would shoot down there, but they ain't. They're done. Sorry.
I know. It's too bad. We'll see. Need a good comeback, but if you're down here, let me know.
You got it, man. Have a good rest
man.
of the week. We'll talk soon.
Dave, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you again. Okay.
Yep, bye-bye.
See you. There's Dave Sharapan, and always good talking to him. So, yeah, after this week, we still have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So we're not done after today, just after this week. But I wanted to alert people alert the viewers, because Dave was a staple every Monday on the show to recap the weekend, former odds maker, is a media personality, and he's all over the place right now, talking about betting on different shows. And he's always nice enough to join us every Monday at noon Eastern. That since we're taking a bit of a break here, we're going to reshuffle some things with shows, and we're going to have more news about that coming up, very soon. That we just want to put that out there, so it's not like, okay, bye, Dave, see you next week, but we're not going to talk to you next week. So that's why I want to let you all know that. So that's why I want to thank Dave for everything he's done for this show. Now, want to look at a couple baseball games for tonight. We're going to focus on probably the 4 best matchups. So we'll start in the National League East with the Phillies and the Braves. 2 teams that have been very underachieving, to say the least. Atlanta, the defending champions, the Phillies, who, again, they were thought to compete with the Mets for first in the National League East. The Mets have been great. Seems like they're running away with the division already. But the Phillies and Braves, both at 19 and 22, they hook up in Atlanta to begin a 3-game set. And Philadelphia snapped their 3-game skid. They were very fortunate to beat the Dodgers yesterday, and a Max Muncy error in extra innings that scored 2 runs to give the Phillies the 4-3 win. They blew a 4-1 lead on Saturday with Aaron Nola, lost 7-4 to the Dodgers. And Philadelphia, the tough run here. They played the Dodgers, Padres, and Dodgers in 3 consecutive series and went 4-6 in that stretch. Now they got the Braves, who had a chance at a sweep of the Marlins. This was more the Marlins' fault than the Braves actually coming back. Sandy Alcantara threw a complete game. He was tremendous on Sunday, but the Marlins just had all these ridiculous errors that kept the Braves in the game. Marlins ended up winning 4-3, so that snapped Atlanta's modest 2-game winning streak. So now they go to Atlanta tonight, and Zach Wheeler, who had a horrible start to the season, he's actually pitched a lot better. He had back-to-back starts where he allowed 11 earned runs. And since then, he's given up 3 earned runs in 4 starts. 3 of those starts, he hasn't allowed a run. So he allowed the 3 runs in a 9-7 win over the Dodgers, but also 6 scoreless against the Rockies, 7 2/3 scoreless against Texas, 7 scoreless against San Diego. He's allowed 1 home run his last 6 starts. So Wheeler's pitched very well. He's favored tonight against the Braves. Tucker Davidson will get the start for Atlanta. And he's coming off a solid outing against Milwaukee his last time out. 5 scoreless, allowed 3 hits, and a 3-0 win over the Brewers. So Davidson will get the start for Atlanta. And both these teams, again, trying to get on track. They both have been struggling big time. Now, the Blue Jays and Cardinals, one of 2 interleague games tonight. We're only going to focus on this. We're not going to focus on Royals Diamondbacks because both those teams, well, Arizona's a game below 500. Royals have really struggled. But the Blue Jays and Cardinals, Battle of Birds tonight in St. Louis. Cardinals at 23-18, Blue Jays at 22-19. Toronto's 8-11 on the road, Cardinals 10-8 at home. And the Blue Jays, off a 3-2 loss to Cincinnati yesterday at home, the Blue Jays right now riding an 8-game under streak. Now, you say, is it good pitching? Bad hitting. Here's the numbers put up runs-wise by the Blue Jays recently. 2-3-2-1-3. That's not good. So Toronto, with all this star power in their lineup, they are not hitting the ball well. St. Louis, off this 3-game sweep of Pittsburgh, and as Dave talked about, that crazy 9th inning as well, 18-4 win over the Pirates yesterday. And the Cardinals tonight, they're throwing on Miles Mikolas, Jose Barrios for Toronto. So pretty good pitching matchup this evening. Even though Barrios has been up and down, coming off a 3-0 win over Seattle his last time out. ERA of 6.43 on the road for Barrios. For Mikolas, he's had good numbers. Even though the Cardinals lost his last start against the Mets, 1.68 ERAs, 3-2 so far in the season in 8 starts. And the Cardinals a short favorite there. The Brewers and the Padres in San Diego. That's a couple of late night games tonight. So if you want a little bit of chase action, you got it. San Diego off that 3-game sweep of San Francisco. Padres, look at this. Without Fernando Tatis, 27-14. Manny Machado's had a great season so far. And the Padres back to this long road trip, a 9-game trip. They went 7-2. 10-1 win over the Giants yesterday. So nice 3-game sweep over San Francisco. Now back at home, they get Milwaukee, who is coming off now another series win over Washington. They did lose the finale 8-2, but Milwaukee, though, still in control of that National League Central. And they are coming off of 3 straight series victories. Now they send out Adrian Hauser, who lost to Atlanta his last time out. Nick Martinez, the former Ranger, he's been up and down for San Diego this year. He's 2-2. But the Padres favored, obviously, at home. Giants and the Mets in San Francisco. Mets off a win over the Rockies yesterday. Now 28-15. Excuse me, trying to get over this cough. Thought I'd spare all of you. So the Mets are 28-15, Giants are 22-18. David Peterson and Alex Cobb on the mound. Peterson, the lefty, he is back on the mound after missing a little bit of time. But the good news is that he has pitched well for New York so far this season. 1.89 ERA for the Mets southpaw. And New York doing this now with Max Scherzer sideline, with DeGrom sideline. How about this little nugget, though? David Peterson last pitched on May 3rd. David Peterson is the only left-handed pitcher for the Mets to make a start. This is the fourth time he's starting this year. 4 starts out of, that'll be 44 games that the Mets have a left-handed starter going. So Peterson will go. Alex Cobb and the Giants off 4 straight losses. They need to get on track. 3-1 record for Cobb, 5.61 ERA. Allowed 7 earned runs his last time out in a 10-7 win over the Rockies. So back-to-back wins, both over the Rockies, and now Cobb will start against New York, trying to at least lower that ERA a little bit, the veteran. He's been around a long time. So that is a look at everything, or at least most things, on this Monday card. We talked NBA, you got Heat Celtics tonight, no Tyler Hero for Miami, and the 2 hockey games, Panthers, Lightning, Avalanche, Blues. And then tomorrow you have Golden State trying to close out Dallas. And we'll see if that's the case coming up tomorrow. So, again, our thanks to Dave Sharapan for joining us today on the show. And we'll be back with you tomorrow at noon Eastern. Stephanie Odio will join me coming up tomorrow at noon. So looking forward to that. So don't forget to tune in to the Daily Insider. You can find us on our YouTube channel, Vegas Insider TV. Like and subscribe to our shows, our videos as well. And I got a lot more coming up this week, so you can check it out there. Again, I am Kevin Rogers. Thanks a lot for watching, and as always, best of luck with your bets.